Hi, guys. Hope you're having a good evening. It is July 20th, 2023 at 10:06 p.m. Hope your Thursday was good and blessed. For me, this is my Saturday. I spent all day working on those very large videos I made, putting all of the items, the content that I had put in the files into the description since I'm unable to upload those files. Uh, they don't provide a means to do so. So feel free to go back and take a look at the description to match up my notes with yours if you did your homework. If not, it doesn't hurt to read it. Okay, for this video, I have from here forward will be always putting the homework in the description for you to read along with as you're listening to me, and to, when you are done, double check as your homework with your own eyes. Read over it, check it in your own Bible. Okay, these are supposed to be 10 minutes long, and I just realized the live view does provide a timer. We are almost, we just passed the minute and a half mark. I am going to do my best to try to keep my eye on that timer. So what I'm going to do here is do a split view on my screen. So the document I need is on one side, and I can see the time with YouTube on the other side, all on one screen. In case, just a little tip, in case you ever want to do this for yourself, you take the document, let's say this is the screen. You take your document at the top, you'll put your mouse on it, click down, and hold that mouse down, and you drag the mouse. While you drag the document, you drag it and bang it against the side of the monitor until you see an outline shadow. That outline shadow will show you where your document is going to. And when you see that, let go of the mouse and watch as your document shapes itself to half of your monitor. And it'll provide you options of any other document you might want on the other side. If you don't want any other document, just click on the document you made half a shape of. Otherwise, choose which one you want to be on the other side. Nice and easy, quick tip, just for anyone who would be interested. Okay, on for our lessons for tonight. So we've done chapter 1, verse 1 and 2 extremely thoroughly. Extremely thorough. My English. Okay, so we should be working on Genesis chapter 1, verses 3, 4, and 5. So this is where I will begin with you. Again, I have made it so that everything you need is in the description. You can read along with me. Unfortunately, the reference that you'll find at the bottom right-hand side of the page on page 4 in the Bible that we're working in, it for 4, verse 4, it is referencing all the way back to 1, doing chapter 1, verse 1 through 2 and 4. So you're going to hear me repeat what we've already learned, but we're not going in depth like we had been. That's the good part about not doing the references for everything you come across. You don't get caught up doing tons and tons of reference lookups. So let's start from the start. Okay. Genesis 3. Now, between the 3 and the 4, the end of the sentence for 3 and the beginning of the sentence for 4, there's a C. And you question, which sentence does it belong to? If you remember, when we did verse 2, there was a letter B at the end of it. So it's very possible that the sea can belong to the third verse, not the fourth verse. The only way to know for certain is to just go and look that verse up and see which line it most relates to. You would think two lines wouldn't be similar, but it is possible. Whichever line it most relates to is the one you want. So you're going to have, for Genesis 3, we're going to attach the sea there. This is why. For Genesis 3c, it references to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6, which is on page 213. I'll do a quick pause in case you want to go to that place. Okay. The second epistle of Paul to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 6. For God, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," has shone in our hearts, that we in turn might make known the glory of God shining on the face of Christ. I just realized I put an S after a note. I have to fix that in the description too. Okay. On to the next one. So that was for verse 3. It's, as you can see, it's saying, let light shine out of darkness. If you read verse 3, it's saying, then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So that is why I believe it belongs to verse 3, because it's repeating what God is saying in verse 3. Okay, now here's verse 4. God saw how good the light was. God then separated the light from the darkness. Now, it's saying that, that 2 Corinthians, and saying, God said, "Let the light shine out of darkness," because it says, for God who said that has shown us in our hearts, that we in turn might make known the glory of God shining on the face of Christ. That has nothing to do with verse 4, where God is saying the light is good and that he separates the light from the dark. No, this is 100% reflective of verse 3, where he is literally saying, "Let there be light." Because it's saying, for God who said, "Let light shine." Do you hear them? I hope I made the connection well enough. Okay, so now that I beat that dog, just in case you did not get that humor and you actually are stuck, please write in the comments and I'll clarify. Okay, so sorry, my nerves cause me to get itchy eyes. Oh, don't know why, but it's always when I'm on the camera. And lately my eyes are twitching. All right, we're almost at 9 minutes, so I have to go through the other twos quickly. All right, Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 2 and 4a. Okay, so I've already read 1 through 3 for you already. So this is 4. God saw how good the light was. God then separated the light from the darkness. This is the section introducing the whole Pentateuch. It shows how God brought an orderly universe out of primordial chaos. Okay? And now chapter 1, verse 5. Here is the verse. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Thus evening came and morning followed, thus the first day. Okay? And here is what the reference says about Genesis chapter 1, verse 5. Oh my goodness, we're almost at 10 minutes. I'm going to try to be fast. I might go over this one. In ancient Israel, a day was considered to begin a sunset according to the highly artificial literary structure of Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 2, 4a. By the way, the A actually means the first portion of that verse. So when it says God saw how good the light was, period. That's all you need. That's all it's referring to. It's pointing, that 4a is pointing to that. Okay. God's creativity is divided into 6 days to teach the sacredness of the Sabbath rest on the seventh day in the Israelite region. Then it references Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 following, which is found on page 5. Since on the seventh day, God was finished with the work he had undertaken, so God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all work he had done in creation. Okay, so we have made our way from verse 1 through 5, and I will summarize what I understand, and I want you to put in the comments what you believe this lesson summarizes. So it's saying God used his mouth, but he doesn't physically have a mouth. So he spoke words. How does God speak words if he has no mouth? You will find throughout the Bible, Jesus is listed as the Word. So it may be referring to Jesus's mouth, speaking on God's behalf. Then you also have the Holy Spirit who does some speaking. He speaks to us through our heart. But God wasn't speaking through his heart. He was speaking with words, with a non-existent mouth. He's not formed like we are. So that leads me to tell me that when God did all this, he did it with Jesus doing the speaking. Okay? Yes, Jesus wasn't physically born here, but he existed. The whole Trinity existed long before Jesus came down here. They have always been as one, the Trinity, which the Bible, as we learn, will explain that even better. So I take this as Jesus on behalf of God saying what needs to be said. And what God is saying is, well, I have already separated the oceans. Now I am going to separate the darkness and the light. And I will name the darkness and I will name the light so that when they change over, it is easy to see day from night. The beginning of day is when the first glimpse of light appears. God is literally beginning the first forms of everything that must be done. When you are a web designer or a program designer, you'll be like God, where you have to come to tiniest thoughts and remember the robot can't do things unless you tell it, okay, to reach for the knife for the peanut butter, first you have to turn on your battery and send the signal to the arm to stretch the arm, and then let the mechanic run so that you will stretch the arm and pick up the knife. You can't just go right and do them. Everything's got to be thought out, which is what God is doing here. He's thinking everything out, making sure things are very detailed and taken care of. So those are my thoughts on it. Oh my gosh. We're at 14 minutes. I broke it. It was supposed to be 10. Well, I hope I didn't cause you to be late going back from your 10-minute break. If you're not on break, awesome. I will try to do better next time. I've got to get faster at doing these. I'm very sorry. I will eventually get to the point where I'm doing 10 minutes. I promise. Eventually. All right. Love you. God bless. Be safe. Take care and goodbye.